Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for this video. I am filming, of course, if you can tell from the title, a 2023 book review of all the books that I read this year, sharing my favorites, which ones maybe I didn't love so much, and just all the ones that I read. I completed my reading challenge for the year, which was 40 books. I'll pop a little picture or screenshot here of from the app Goodreads, which is how I track my books and the books that I've read, what pages I'm on, kind of percentage wise and everything. I love that app. It's so fun. You can follow your friends, you can follow authors. It's super fun. If you don't have it, definitely download it. My user is just my name, Ashleynewbegin. I'll pop it down like a link below if you guys want to follow, but it's so much fun. I was really proud. 40 books. It's been a really busy year, so I really didn't think I was gonna be able to do it. Last year or the year before, it's 2022, it was also 40 books, and I've completed my goal ever since downloading the Goodreads app. But this year I kept it at 40 again. I can always bump it up. 2024 I can always bump it up if I want to, but I'm keeping it at 40 books again, so let's hope I can do it. But yeah, I was just really excited to share with you guys all the books that I've read. There are definitely some like all-time faves that I have this year, and some that maybe I didn't really love and I probably wouldn't recommend. But I've just got my little Starbucks coffee here. I'm obsessed with this Java sock. It's just like a coffee koozie. It's Harry Potter. Felt like it fit the vibe. It's so cute. I'm obsessed. One of my friends got it for me for my for Christmas, and I'm obsessed. So grab your coffee, get cozy. It's actually, we have our first snowstorm here in New England today. So I'm feeling extra cozy, and I'm in like the perfect reading book vibe. So yeah, if you're interested in watching the video, stick around. If you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I hope you stick around. And yeah, if you're someone that watched my videos, welcome back. But yeah, let's get started. So I was kind of unsure on how to set up the video, kind of what books I read. I was gonna go in order of the books that I read, but then like I was reading series, so then you would be seeing one at the beginning, one at the end, so it didn't really make too much sense. So I decided on starting with the series of the books, if that makes sense, like book series first that I completed, and then, or started, and then just read randoms after that, if that makes sense. So let's get started. The first series that I completed and I read was the Winter in Paradise series. There's 3 books. They're by Ellen Hilderbrand. The first one is Winters in Paradise. The next one is What Happens in Paradise, and then the third one is right here. I'll pop a picture of it here. I really liked this series. They were pretty short books, so they were kind of easy for me to read. I love Ellen Hilderbrand. She's one of my favorite authors. She's from Nantucket, which I absolutely love Nantucket. I've been the past 2 summers, and I just love the tropical vibes. And these is like winter in paradise, so if you're feeling like you need some tropical vibes in the winter, definitely read it. Just a quick little glimpse into what this series is about. So basically it's about a mom, her 2 sons, and her husband, and he passes away, and she finds out that he had been cheating on her for quite some time and had a whole separate family kind of on this island. And after he passes away, the books are just kind of going through her life and the son's life on how they kind of deal with it and all the things that they learn about his past life. So I really liked these. I think I gave them all like a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. But yeah, I really like these series. I love Ellen Hilderbrand. I would definitely recommend this series. I ended up reading the third one on my Kindle, which is why I don't have it with me. But yeah, this was the first series that I completed in 2023, and I would definitely recommend it. Oh, this next series, guys, this are probably my top, to be honest, is these, and they're by Lauren Asher, and it is The Final Offer, Terms and Conditions, and The Fine Print. And I'm obsessed with these books. I would recommend them to people who love romance, who love the Disney theme parks, or just theme parks in general. Basically, each book is about a different brother and kind of their love story, and their grandfather was actually the owner, CEO of a theme park company, and he passes away, and he kind of leaves them each with a challenge on if they complete it, they own part of the company. And man, I'm getting the chills just thinking about it, because as you know, if you've been here for a while, I'm a huge Disney person, huge theme park person, and a huge reader. So this was just kind of all in one for me. I would definitely recommend them to people like me, I should say. But the first one is The Fine Print, and then they kind of go up from here. I think the third one was actually my favorite, but anyway, I loved these books. I will definitely be reading this series again one day when I kind of forget the details, but I loved it. Next series that I started, I haven't completed it yet because I actually got the 3rd book for Christmas this year, and it is The Things We Never Got Over and Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. These covers are stunning. The 3rd one is purple with I think just a different type of flower on it. I read these two pretty early in the beginning of the year, so I kind of don't remember exactly what they are about. These kind of reminded me, if you've read the Colleen Hoover books at all, these kind of reminded me along the lines of those, but I remember really enjoying these. I just checked Goodreads too, and I did give them both a 4 out of 5, so I'm excited to read the 3rd one and complete this series, but these covers are stunning, and yeah, I also would recommend. Next series that I started and I actually did not complete was The Summer I Turned Pretty. I didn't love them, and I'm sad about it because I loved the TV show. Now these are young adult books, so I should have expected kind of cringiness, which I feel like the TV show is also like that, but I liked the TV show a lot more than the actual books, and I actually do often like the young adult books. Like if you've read the Kissing Booth series, I absolutely love those, but there was just something, I didn't really love these. Thankfully they were super quick reads, so I didn't have to like kind of be like, oh, when is this going to be over kind of thing. But I read the first 2, so The Summer I Turned Pretty and then It's Not Summer Without You, and I believe there is a 3rd one as well. I'm just gonna stick to the TV show. I probably will not finish this series just because I didn't love it. I think I gave these both a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads, but I know people who really loved them. It just wasn't my thing. All right, next series here is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I did not finish them. I only read the first 2 books. I absolutely loved them. As simple as that. I loved them and I cannot wait to finish the series. But if you've read it, you know it's a big time commitment, and yeah, I really loved them. This was the first kind of books that I've read that have been like fairy tale, fantasy, utopia, I guess you would kind of call it. Fairies, dragons, all those kind of things, which I never used to be really into, but as of recently I've been really obsessed with this kind of fairy kind of world. But yeah, I really loved these 2. I'm a little bit into the 3rd one right now, but I'm definitely going to be finishing the whole series in 2024. But I started it in 2023. People are obsessed with it. It's great. It's a great series and I can't wait to finish it. So yeah, I've only read the first 2, but definitely will be reading the rest of them. All right, so these next ones are actually based on kind of TV shows slash movies here. So the first one is The Outer Banks. I absolutely love the TV show. If you've watched it, some people like actually hate it, but I actually really loved it. I didn't know they had a book. It's not by the producers or the writers of the show, which is pretty interesting. This is by Alyssa Scheinmel. I don't even know how to say her name. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It felt very young adultish, which again, I really like the young adult books, but for some reason this just felt really cringy and really cheesy to me and not like the TV show. I was hoping that it would be kind of just like the TV show because I liked the show so much that I was hoping that I could relive it and read the book. I just didn't love it. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I probably could have docked it a little bit down, but yeah, this one, not good. Next one, Queen Charlotte. I love the Bridgerton series, and even more did I love Queen Charlotte, and oh my Lanta, this book was everything. The characters, the show, everything about this was definitely one of my top reads of the year. I adore it. I cannot wait for another season to come out, if they even are gonna, I don't even know if they're gonna do a second season. I just loved it. If you've watched the TV show Bridgerton or Queen Charlotte at all, this is basically the TV show but just in word form, and it was so good. I would highly recommend it. So much romance, so much heartbreak. It was perfect in my opinion. Next one, another one, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, a Hunger Games series. If you know me in my personal life, you know how obsessed I am with the Hunger Games series to this day. It is like my comfort series. I'm always watching the Hunger Games. I'm always reading the books. But I actually read this back in 2020 when it came out during COVID time. I loved it, and actually the movie just came out and I saw it like the first day it aired in theaters, and I loved it. Again, as simple as that, like 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this book. It did start a little slow in the beginning, but it's like all the important facts that you kind of had to know and to be able to like understand what was going on with the whole story, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you are a Hunger Games fan and you haven't gotten your hands on this or watched the movie yet, definitely would recommend. I loved it. All right, my one and only biography that I read of the year. I'm not usually a biography type of reader, but this is Robert Iger, I should say. He is the Disney CEO, so he's the company, he basically runs the Disney company. Again, I'm a huge Disney person and I really wanted to read this. It's called The Ride of a Lifetime. He recently just stepped back into the CEO role, which is why I read this, because there was some time where he wasn't the CEO and he was we knew he was going to be back in that role. So I wanted to read this right before he stepped back into the role. But I am not a business person. I'm actually a teacher, if you didn't know, and I learned a lot in this book, actually. I really enjoyed this. I learned a lot about him as like a person, and like I just really like him. He's a really cool guy. He runs a pretty cool company. But yeah, there was a lot of things that I actually took away from this book that I could use in my personal life. Even though it was business related, a lot of it kind of motivated me in my personal life. But yeah, this is the one and only biography that I read, and I think I gave it a 4 or a 5. It was definitely pretty high up there. Yeah, if you're a Disney fan, I would definitely read this, and just kind of learning about Bob Iger and his journey to be the CEO, and just the challenges it takes to get there, and just, you know, I loved it. Starting on like the romance, kind of all the bunch of random books here that are not part of the series. So the first one here is The 7-Year Slip. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. I didn't love it. I was really excited to read this one, and I did really like it. It just, I think I had really high expectations for this book, and it kind of let me down a little bit. But yeah, she is basically going back from 7 years and then going forward to 2 different kind of lives, trying to figure out her way romantically and just kind of with her life. I really liked it. I would recommend it. Probably wouldn't read it again, but I would recommend it. This was a 4 out of 5 for me. Next one is Icebreaker. Oh my Lanta, this was a spicy book. Very unexpected spicy. This is a very popular book right now. It's basically a hockey player and an ice skater, and they're in college, and no spoiler, I think it's pretty obvious, but they fall in love, and you just kind of figure out their journey and like their personal lives, and it was very spicy. Really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. If you like spicy romances, I would definitely recommend this one. Okay, next one is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This was a really early read for me in the year. It didn't stick with me, so I don't really remember exactly what it was about. I think it had to do with, actually I think she's his bodyguard once. She is actually his bodyguard, and it's a romance. What do you think's gonna happen? I just checked too, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5. So I did rate it pretty high, which is pretty good. This is actually a book of the month book. I don't do that subscription anymore. I did way back when, and I actually had this for a while, so I just figured I'd read it, and yeah, it was pretty good, so I'd recommend it. Okay, and this book was probably my most anticipated release of 2023, Happy Place by Emily Henry. I loved this book. I loved it. I actually read it when I was in California with Zach. We went to Disneyland and we went to San Diego, all that fun stuff. So I kind of just hold this kind of book as a memory, if that makes sense. Whenever I bring books on vacation with me, I always think of those books from that trip, if that makes sense. I was just so excited to read this book. I'd been waiting for it forever. It's a beautiful book. I love Emily Henry's writing. I love her style. It is a romance. I would recommend it. Some people didn't like it, but then again, I feel like reading is so personalized. But I loved it. I would recommend it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Okay, this one, Under the Whispering Door. This was so good. This was so good. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I could have given it a 4.5, but on Goodreads you can't do half stars. This was so good. It definitely puts things into perspective in your life. Basically, there's a character, his name is Wallace, and he attends his own funeral, so he's kind of like a ghost, and the whole book is him going back in his life, kind of trying to figure out like what he could have done better. He was kind of a very miserable older man, wasn't very kind, very unhappy, and the ending was just, it was so good. I would definitely recommend this. I didn't really know much about it when I picked it up, but I would definitely recommend it. This is one that's probably gonna stick with me for a while, so this is actually a very recent read for me, but I loved it. Next one is The Perfect Couple, also by Ellen Hildebrand. Like I showed you guys in the beginning of the video, I wanted to read this because they're actually creating a show or a movie based on this book. I forget if it's a show or a movie. Let me see. Or is it this one? I don't even remember. I believe this is becoming some form of watch, if that makes sense. Basically, it is just about a wedding on Nantucket and it goes disastrous. There is a murder and they try and figure out how it happened. I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I just, again, love her writing style, so this is another one that I would recommend. Okay. Meet Me at the Lake. I also really liked this one. I love Carly Fortune, I don't even know how to say her name. She also wrote Every Summer After, which I know people have really strong opinions on that book, and some people like actually really hate it, but I loved Every Summer After. It was probably like one of my top 10 favorite books of all time. I don't know why, it just stuck with me. I absolutely loved that book. So I was really excited for this one. I did not rate it as high as like Every Summer After, but I really liked it. It is a romance book, so basically these two characters knew each other when they were younger, went a very, very, very long time without talking, seeing each other, and then they got to see each other again at the lake. If you're like not cheesy romance, but a romance kind of book lover, I would definitely recommend this one. The next one here is Summer Reading, and I'm not gonna lie, this book wasn't my favorite. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. I honestly don't even really remember what it was about because it didn't really stick with me. It has some pretty low reviews on Goodreads, but I definitely wanted to give it a chance. I didn't hate it. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I honestly really like the cover, which I know is bad, and it's a cute little summer read, I guess. I'll give you kind of a little gist of what it is. So it says, when a woman who'd rather do anything than read meets a swoon-worthy bookworm, sparks fly, making for one hot summer fling. So basically these two characters are just very, very different types of people, and romance, what do you think is gonna happen? But yeah, I definitely, I wouldn't recommend it, but I didn't hate it, if that makes sense. So yeah. Okay, I gave this a 5 out of 5. Again, there were very mixed reviews on this book. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love her books. It's about a character and her name is Hannah, and she's very, very unhappy with her life, and when she's at a bar, she actually sees her ex-boyfriend from high school. She basically is trying to figure out if she leaves the bar with her friend, a different life. If she leaves the bar with her ex-boyfriend, a different life, if that makes sense. That was a really bad explanation without trying to give any spoilers, but I really liked it. I would recommend it. Some people wouldn't, but I really liked it. Okay, next one. I loved this one. It's called Guncle. It's such a fun, happy cover, right? No, the story is really sad. Really sad. I cried. It's basically about this uncle. His name is Patrick, gay Uncle Patrick, Gup for short, which is super cute. So Guncle. He's basically just taking care of his niece and nephew, and you learn a lot about him, but the humor in this book is just so good, and I laughed and I cried, and this was actually recommended to me by one of my coworkers. I'm so glad she did, because this one was really good. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this one. All right, this was one that I found myself a little disappointed with. I gave it a 4 out of 5. So I did really like it. Archer's Voice, if you can't see, by Mia Sheridan. people really, really, really love this book, and I liked it. I did not love it, but I didn't hate it. It is a romance book, and again, I didn't hate it. I would recommend it, but I think I had such high expectations on this one as well that I just kind of found myself a little disappointed. I read this a while ago, so let me just refresh my mind again on what the story was on the back. Okay, so the main character, the girl, her father was murdered, and she actually was there during that, and she survived, and her dad didn't. But then she meets someone named Archer Hale, and her entire world tilts on his axis. It's a romance book. I really liked it. I would definitely recommend it. Again, I just think I had a little too high expectations for this one, but one of my best friends actually is obsessed with this book, so I would recommend it. It's good. This is a reread for me. This was Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is such an easy book to read. I don't want to say the word easy. I should take that back because everyone reads differently, but this is like a one-dayer for me. This is such a good book. I believe they are making this into a show or movie. I think that's why I reread it. I don't know why I reread it actually, now that I think of it. This book is crazy. Crazy. If you were in a reading slump, or if you're a new reader, read this book because it is definitely an easier book to get through. And my goodness, the twists, the turns, the chaoticness is just, it's insane. I would 100% recommend this book. Easy 5 out of 5 for me. Okay, so now the rest of the books that I have are actually all online. So these are books that I read on my Kindle. Let me just pull them up on my iPad really quickly so I can kind of give you guys a little rundown of the books that I read on my Kindle that I just wasn't able to show you a physical. Okay, one of my biggest authors, or kind of books that I read this year, from the most books that I read by this author, is Frida McFadden. I'm actually gonna scooch over here so I can show you guys and pop the books up right next to me. First one is The Housemaid. Pop it right here. It's so good. It kind of these are all like suspenseful crime murder kind of books. I would 100% recommend her books, like 100%. The Housemaid was the first one I read by her. Unbelievable. It kind of gave me the Verity vibes. Please read. Half my books just fell down. We're gonna ignore that. Please read it. It is so good, and they're shorter books, but they're like those type of books that you literally cannot put down. Unbelievable, so good. So 5 out of 5 for The Housemaid. Next one I read by her is called Never Lie. Also great book. I absolutely loved it. Highly recommend. Again, I would highly recommend literally any of her books that I've read so far. So good. The Inmate, another one that I read by her. I believe this was, she is a nurse, very young nurse actually, in a jail, and she meets someone. I don't know if it's from her past. It is from her past, I believe, and she kind of rekindles with him in jail, and you just gotta read it. It's so good. Okay. Then there was The Housemaid's Secret, which is actually the second book to The Housemaid. Really good. First one was better, but read the second one because it just kind of furthers the story. But yeah, also very good. I have 2 more from her, just bear with me. The Locked Door freaked me out. Freaked me out. 100% would recommend though. Please read it. Please read it. 5 out of 5. And then the last one I read from her this year is actually called The Perfect Son. Also, really good book. Guys, I don't know what it is about Frida McFadden, but I just love the writing. Just all the books that I've read by her, I think is it a girl? I don't know. Frida McFadden, I don't know if it's a woman or male. I don't know. I'm assuming it's a woman. Any book that I've read from her so far, I would recommend. I'm obsessed with the books, so there was my, like, how many books is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 books from her. Recommend every single one of them. Okay, then we have Mad Honey. I really enjoyed this book, although there was a lot of it in like filler information in the book that I just felt like didn't need to be in there. It's about, like, a lot of it's kind of about bees. A lot of again, filler information in the book was just very unnecessary for me, and it kind of got me a little bored, but the whole story itself was just so really good that I ended up giving it a 5 out of 5 because I didn't really care too much about the filler information. But again, this was recommended to me by a coworker. I absolutely loved it. It was so good. Okay, a little gist of kind of what that is about. It says, a riveting novel about what we choose to keep from our past and what we choose to leave behind. Great book. If that didn't convince you, I'm telling you, you should read it. It's so good. Okay, the next one. This is probably my top read of the year. One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's right here. This had everything that I wanted in a book. Suspense, romance, heartbreak, happiness. And just kind of life lessons. It was unbelievable. Basically, there's a woman and her husband, I think it was her husband, he got in an accident, and I believe it was from a plane crash, and he was pronounced dead, or in a coma. I forget exactly what it was, but he ended up coming back to life, or they thought he was dead. I forget exactly what it was, but she had remarried and she refound someone else to love, because she thought he was gone for so long. So of course when he came back, he wanted to be with her again, and she's kind of going back and forth between, does she still love him? Well, she still loves him, but just does she fit with his life, because he's still stuck from years ago, or is she happy where she is with her new person, because she feels like she's a different person now. So it was so good. I'm just like really not good at explaining it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was so unbelievably good. I would 100% recommend this book to anybody, honestly. All right, and then I read Daisy Jones and the Sixth. This was actually a book that I read in the beginning of the year. Loved the TV show, like absolutely loved it. I believe I read the book first because I challenged myself to do that. I read the book first. The book and the show are very similar. Really loved them both. I would definitely recommend it. The whole cast for that show, unbelievable, like so good. The whole story, the soundtrack, everything about it, amazing. 5 out of 5. Would 100% recommend this to anybody, honestly, just like the last one. So good. Okay, next book is Part of Your World. I honestly don't even remember what this book was about. I just checked Goodreads. I gave it a 4 out of 5, so I must have liked it. I just don't remember like anything from the book other than it's obviously a romance. So I would recommend it based on my rating, but I don't remember what it was about, so let me check. So it's basically about these two characters who live very different lives, who are very different. She's very confused on what she wants to do with her life, and if she's really happy with what she's doing now. And I think through her romance with this male, she kind of figures out what she wants to do in life and where and what path will actually make her the happiest, if that makes sense. So I guess I recommend it. I don't really remember too much reading it, but based on my rating, I'll recommend it. Okay, and then last one that I read, this was a summer read for me. It's called The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. Again, love her. This book was so good as well. The Hotel Nantucket, which is also by her, was probably one of my favorite books, top 10 books I've ever read. So this one kind of reminds me a little bit of it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because there was some things about it that I just was like, man. But I really liked it. Basically, this woman, her husband dies and she's lonely and she's older, and she basically invites 5 people. Oh no, I think it's 5 people. She invites people in different kind of areas of her life to meet up and have a girls' weekend. Basically, you learn a lot about their relationships with each other, and it kind of, you can apply it to your own life, if that makes sense. There was a lot of twists and turns in it as well, so I would highly recommend that one. Okay, so I think that was all of the books that hopefully I got them all. I tried to find them all and locate them all on Goodreads to share with you guys, but definitely One True Loves was up there for my favorite one of 2023. A lot of people had some very strong opinions on books, but again, like I said earlier, like I feel like reading is just such a personal experience. It depends on how much you relate to the book, how you like the language, the author, the communication between the characters itself, the setting, literally everything. And then the fine print series, so those 3 books that I showed you guys in the beginning, loved them. Theme park lovers, definitely read. Romance lovers, for those as well, I would highly recommend. Random little thing here, because it has to do with reading, are these really cute little bookmarks. One of my friends got it for me for my birthday, so I've been using these for a while. They're absolutely adorable, and right now I'm actually reading The Fourth Wing. This is the first 2024 read for me this year, and I'm gonna give you a little spoiler here, not about the book, but about my opinion. I'm addicted. Thank goodness I already have the second one, because I'm telling you right now, this is just unbelievable. So I know this is a 2023 book review video, but I'm already gonna recommend The Fourth Wing, and this is 2024. I'm obsessed. So if you do not have the Goodreads app, like I said, definitely download it. It is so fun to follow your friends and authors and just kind of track your reading. You can set your goals on there as well. It's super fun. So hopefully by the end of the year, I will hit my 40 book goal again. It's so fun. It's so satisfying being able to like check off another book that you've read for the year. But I got a bunch of books for Christmas. I have so many books right now that I'm so excited to read. So be on the lookout for those, just kind of in my daily, weekly kind of travel vlogs too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Some of them were a little bit hard for me to explain because, you know, 365 days, that's a lot of days to remember all the nitty-gritty details about all the books that you've read. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We announced some fun travel plans coming up in the last video, so we are going to California soon again, which is really exciting. So I'll be bringing some books on that trip, and yeah, so like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, happy reading. If you have read any of these books, have different opinions, or any recommendations, leave them down below. I'd love to start like a little book chat. I'm just trying to think of anything else that I wanted to say about the books before I click off. Okay, I don't think I have anything else to say. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe, stick around. We'd love to have you. But yeah, I'm gonna go continue my cozy little snow day and finish this book because I'm so excited. I'm addicted. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.